In this final video, I'll show you how to win this sort of position every time without fail, where you've got a king and a queen versus the opponent's lone king. Too often in this position, white does not win. If you're 9 points up, this should be a walk in the park. However, so often, white draws. This is either because white just continuously gives checks back and forth, making no progress, resulting in a draw called threefold repetition, which I'll explain, or they stalemate, another sort of draw. I'll explain both to you briefly. Let's say you give a check. Okay, this is natural if you want to checkmate. Okay, remember, checkmate is when you're attacking the king directly and they cannot move to safety. So it makes sense, and very often checks will be decisive. But when you're trying to do this checkmate, I want you to avoid them. Because if you just continuously gives checks, let's say with these moves, king c6, queen e6, see this exact position with all the pieces exactly how they are? Well, did you know that if you get this position 3 times throughout the game will end on the spot as a draw? Well, now you do. For example, let's say you just give checks, they go back and forth. You've reached this exact position twice. They go back and forth. And that's the 3rd time you've reached this position. That is a draw, game over. Let's not do that. Instead, let's do this. What we've done here is we've made a fence. This is where the enemy king cannot go towards the center of the board. So in this case, they can't move down the board. And it's not a check. That's completely okay. As long as the king can't go down, we're happy. Because ultimately where we want him is in the corner. So let's say black goes here. There's only one square we can move our queen to, which creates a fence safely, like without losing the queen. Can you pause the video and find it using the square terminology? Yep. F7, queen F7. Okay. Now, I want to point something else out. Notice the queen there's not only a fence that's being created, but we're also a knight's distance away. This is very important. If possible, we want to just continuously create or keep a fence from a knight's distance away. Now, in coordinates, just the same as before, what is the only legal square black can move to? It is black's turn. That's right. If you pause the video and figured it out, good job. C8, king c8. Now, we already have a fence, okay? But let's just keep the fence, but be a knight's distance away. Okay, so we've got a fence here. We're a knight's distance away. We're just going to repeat this. Black only has one move. King d7, same thing. Fence from a knight's distance away. Now, the king has hit the corner. Here is the most important part of it all. Those who clicked off the video, they're doomed to stalemate. Because if we do the same thing as usual, that always works, like fence from a knight's distance away, when the king is in the corner, that is a stalemate. That's the other way to draw. Okay, so the game immediately ends in a draw because a stalemate, it's different from a checkmate, right? A checkmate, remember, is when you're attacking the king directly and it has no legal moves. Here, we're not directly attacking the king. The king is safe, but black has no moves. They have no pieces on the board. They've got no moves. So the game actually immediately ends in a draw. It's black's turn. They have no legal moves. They're not in check. Draw. Okay, game over. How do we avoid that? Let's not do that. Well, when the king hits the corner, that's your signal to stop moving your queen. And there's only one other piece to move. So let's get that king in nice and close and realize that the black king only has 2 squares to move between, because so long as we keep our queen here, we create this jail cell. Yeah. So black's just stuck there forever, and we have the liberty of just waltzing our king in so that it's close enough to give support. And now there's a number of ways that you can checkmate. Pause the video, try to figure one out. The easiest way, I think, is b7. Right, the king defends the queen, right? So the king can't take it. Kings can't move next to other kings. And the queen covers all the other squares and directly attacks the king. Okay, so this is checkmate because the king is under attack and has no legal moves. Other checkmates you might have seen, d8 and e8. Okay, so hopefully now you know the formula. Fences from a knight's distance away, When the king hits the corner, you stop moving your queen, get support with your king, and deliver that lethal blow. So, I hope you enjoyed that 4-part series. You now have some proper chess theory, and that should make all the difference. So good luck on your chess journey, and if you haven't done so, please consider subscribing. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. It would help me a lot. Thank you.